Hi, boys and girls. This is our intro to the next part of Unit 2, Lesson 2, and it's going to be the read aloud portion. So, if you go back and look at some of your animal webcam observations, I want you to think about how some of your animals were alike on the webcam and how they were different. Scientists, in order to classify all living things, they put them into categories called kingdoms. And you read about kingdoms during the first reading in chapter 2. So it's how they classify or organize animals and all living things. During the read aloud today, we will be focusing on the point of view of the author. Now, we talked a little bit about point of view in The Wind in the Willows, and now we're going to take it sort of a step further. When we focus on the author's point of view, things that we ask ourselves is, number one, why did the author write the text or the story or the passage? And number two, does the author want to answer something, explain something, or describe something, describe a topic? So when we talk about author's purpose, we can think of lemonade. Answer, describe, explain. Those are the three reasons an author writes something. So if they're answering a question, the author will ask a question and then use facts to draw conclusions. If they're describing something, they will use adjectives and adverbs. They'll use their 5 senses to describe it, and lots of details about one topic. If they're explaining something, this is them showing how to do something. It might be a step-by-step process that they're describing to us, and they will use diagrams and lots of action verbs. So people who write books or articles have a point of view. They have an idea or an opinion that they want you to learn about through their writing. Take out Activity Book 2.2 and a pencil, and we're going to complete this together. So pause the video, get your activity book, and then come on back. I want you to follow along as I read this page to you. In the 1700s, zoologist Carolus Linnaeus made a big leap for science. He set up an animal classification system. He grouped animals with similar features together. He depended mainly on human observation to do this. He did not have the tools we have now. Today, scientists use special technologies to find hidden similarities among animals. For example, they found that chimpanzees are more closely related to us than they are to gorillas. In fact, we and the chimps share an ape ancestor that lived millions of years ago. Chimps are part of a group called the Great African Apes. Gorillas, bonobos, and orangutans are part of this group too. Linnaeus placed these apes in one group and us in a different one, all by ourselves. However, new research has changed things. The great African apes have joined us as part of one family, the hominids. This was a big leap for science. As science continues to advance, the way we classify all the world's animals will continue to change too. So we want to think about, number one, why did the author write this passage? Well, boys and girls, when I first read this passage, I thought he was explaining something to me. But then I went back and looked at our answer, describe, explain, and I feel like he's more describing something. So he's describing he wrote it to describe his animal classification system. Now, I don't think that if you would write that his purpose was to explain, because in number 2, we get a chance to explain our answer. So if you said that his purpose was to explain, you could write that he's telling us about his animal classification system. If you write that his purpose is to describe, you could tell us that he's describing how his system works. Okay? So as long as you can support your answer and it makes sense, that it could possibly be more than one purpose. So let's move on. You're going to keep activity book page 2.2 very handy, because we are going to be pausing at one point during the read aloud to revisit the back of page 2.2, where you're going to have to listen to a passage and write what you think the purpose is. Okay? So our other purpose for reading today is you're going to hear about 5 groups of animals. And I want you to listen to find out the names of these animal groups and why scientists group them the way they do. So you're going to move on to the read aloud for today. Enjoy.